Nets Kingdom.
Fuck that house now. I'm back. To the top, I'ma make it. Niggas just can't take it. To the top, I'ma make 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 it. Niggas just can't take it.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? I'm here with Cypher. It's your boy AJ. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at NetsKingdom1. All our Twitters are scrolling at the bottom. So we're about 20 couple days from the NBA draft, and we have another scouting report on Nique Clifford. The Brooklyn Nets just worked Nique Clifford out. So we're going to break down the strengths, weaknesses, where his projections are. So let me read real quick. It says Nique Clifford, Colorado State, projects as a strong 3-and-D role player at the professional level with the upside to develop into more complete offensive contributor if he continues to polish his jump shot and ball handling. His defensive versatility and rebounding are immediate assets, particularly for teams that value switchable wings and high energy players. So Nique, really good senior season at Colorado State. He led the Rams in scoring and rebounding, showcasing his all-around impact. He set a school record for most points in a single season with 681. I think he tied the single game scoring record with 36 points in a win over Boise State on March 7th, 2025. So Nique, man, Nique really is one of those. How long was he in school, Cypher? 4 or 5 years?
5 years.
5 years. He's in the school 5. So he's an older guy, but the surprising part about Nique, it's like the tools are there. The 3-and-D. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's get the obvious out of the way. He's 23 years old.
23.
He's 23 years old, and it's not like he just turned 20. He turned 23 in February.
Yeah.
So his rookie year, he'll be turning 24 a couple months before the season ends. So he is old.
Yeah.
He's older than
a lot of he's older than Noah Cloudy. He might be older than Jalen Wilson, right? Is he older than
No, I think they're the same age.
They're the same age. They're probably the same age.
A little bit older.
Yeah.
Like the point is, like the dude, like he should be like in his like 3rd or 4th year in the NBA if he was doing what he was doing now in his like 1st or 2nd year in college. The thing that really does suck with him is that if he was 21 instead of 23, he'd be like a top 8 pick.
Oh, he would. That's one of his like. It's funny that's a kind of a red flag on. Well, it is in scouting reports because they value age. This, you know how guys are in the college rankings. They value age a lot because it kind of hinders to your upside. So him being so old, it's like he has to. Let me ask you this: why do you think his draft position or his mock is still pretty high for an older guy like this? Why do you think teams are still high on him in the probably teens, late teens, early 20s?
Well, okay, I think the NBA, they are looking at his skill and his size, and that does like override some of the age because he did have a fantastic season at Colorado.
Yeah.
The problem, and there have been like guys who've stayed at college longer and they popped off like even though they were like older. Like a great example of this is like Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
I believe Bane spent 4 years in college. His rookie year was his age 22 season. And he became like a very good basketball player, like second option on the Grizzlies. Another example, I believe Jalen Williams spent a couple years in college. His rookie year was his age 21 season.
Yeah.
And like he's a second option on a team that's probably going to win the championship this year. So scouts are starting to look
I think Jaime Jaquez is an older guy too, right? When he got drafted, and
he's the opposite of why you wouldn't do this, because Jaime Jaquez, I believe he was 22 when he got drafted.
Yeah,
and he had a great rookie year, but then like he kind of went ghost his second year on the Heat, and like Miami Heat fans are like, "What the heck happened to this guy?"
Yeah.
So it really. Another example for the Nets, like Jalen Wilson. Like Jalen Wilson looked he won Summer League MVP.
Yeah.
But he was kind of he was one of the worst, most inefficient players this year on the Nets in the NBA.
That sophomore slump was big because remember when he came in and we were so excited? We're like, oh, this guy is Josh Hart reincarnated. Like he had the skill, he was physically gifted, he had the hustle, he was rebounding. I remember summer league, he was going off, hitting game-winning threes. And in the first year in the league, he looked pretty good from three. We were like, okay.
I
See?
remember, I
Mhm.
think myself included, there were guys that said Jalen Wilson would be the second leading scorer on the Nets going into the season. And yeah,
Yeah.
that aged well.
Yeah, that age like milk. Yeah. So let's get into the straights real quick before we get into Nique
Real
Clifford's.
quick though,
Yeah.
and another example, like Keegan Murray,
Oh, another guy. Yeah.
another guy that like really good right off the gate, and then he kind of hit his like plateau.
Yeah.
And even Desmond Bain, like he looked like he was going to be like a top 15 player in the league like a couple years ago, and like his trajectory, like his numbers did go up slightly, but he again like hit that plateau. So that's the risk of drafting these like older guys that are like 22, 23 years old. It's like the ceiling, it'll look really good early on, but
Yeah.
like don't
Ceiling is super limited because that's what you already are at. You're 24, 20. We have no really projections out of that because you're in that mid-tier age, you know?
like think of it like this: if the Nets do draft Clifford
Mhm.
in 4 years at the end of his rookie contract, he will be 27.
Yeah. See, I can't, I personally don't want to draft it, but again, we're covering NBA draft content, so and the Nets just worked him out. So, we're
Yeah,
getting the content. But me personally, I would have drafted him.
I mean
But
we
you
spent six
gotta
minutes talking about the hey, let's get into the actual like skill.
Yeah. We could, like I said, there are teams out there or other fan bases that are probably going to watch this and say, well, he could be a plug in because he could be a plug and play. Let's give him, yeah, let me give the strengths out because he could be a plug and play guy. So the defensive versatility, that's where, Nique, I think, is a strong, strong perimeter defender. Good length, 6'6", lateral quickness is really, really good. Capable of guarding multiple positions, man. He can guard, I guess, 1 through 3. That's which probably what you would put him on. He can maybe guard bigger floors. He's not really frail. He's got a frame onto him, so he could guard and upscale to that 4. Um, Athletic frame, instincts, rebounding. That's where I think he could really be effective. He's like a great hustle offensive rebounding guy for a wing. He uses his athleticism and timing. He impressive rebounds per game. And then we go with the improved offensive efficiency. So in the beginning of his college career, he wasn't really that strong offensive guy, but then he showed improvement in his shooting. I think the shooting is one of the red flags. It has to be more consistent level. It has to be more fluid. Offensive role after transfer. So he went to Colorado State, and I think that senior season is where he impressed the scouts. We're like, whoa, this guy. The shooting was good. 40%. I think what was he 40? I think it was 30, 37,
38.
30,
This year
38,
he was 38 on
38,
5 attempts.
38 on 5 attempts. That is amazing. That is great.
And here's the thing though too, it
Yeah.
wasn't just like spot up stuff. Like it was off the dribble, it was off
Mhm.
screen, it was catch and shoot. So like he is a versatile shooter, which is why like some of these teams like that are trying to win now, like the Spurs, the Magic, the Heat, he's a 6'6", 3-and-D wing that could create a little bit off the dribble. He could
Yeah.
rebound really well. He's got good court vision. He is like a win now guy. Like those teams
Yeah.
would really love him.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of like, those the McDaniels, those type of wings, and Nikhil Alexander Walkers. Everybody, I think maybe that's why these NBA teams value it because they see how at these high level, like you need one of those hustle, high motor, work ethic wings, 3-and-D wings. It's just one of those standard prototypes every team has. So
The floor is high.
the
Like the
floor is
floor
high.
is really
Yes,
high.
safe.
Like
Mhm.
he's Josh Hart he's a bigger Josh Hart with a jump shot.
Yes, that's what I would. Yeah, I like that comparison too. Very, very good comparison. Now we're getting to the weaknesses. We talked about the 3-point shooting consistency that has to be better. The ball handling and shot creation. He's not a primary ball handler. He's going to be mostly on the wing. He struggles to create his own shot in half court settings. Could be turnover prone. And then his offensive aggressiveness, although he has the high motor on the defensive end and the rebounding end, he does seem a little passive offensively, reluctant to look for his shot. He just needs to be more assertive with that. And then the free throw shooting, I think that's one of his other weaknesses. I don't think it was that good. It's just been really inconsistent. He needs to be more reliable guy at the free throw line. But
I don't know. These weaknesses, like
mhm.
I don't think these are weaknesses.
They're not really,
Like,
yeah, they're not really red flags. They're just things he could really
theoretically get
sharpen.
better at. I
Yeah,
mean,
sharpen.
he averaged like 19 points per game. Like he was an on-ball creator.
Mhm,
The efficiency was like great, like 50% from the field, 38% from three. The free throw shooting, like he was 78%,
mhm.
which isn't like great, but it's not like bad at all. Not a weakness.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. This is a player who, and he also averaged 9.6 rebounds per game. Like
that's
I,
great. Yeah,
I think he averaged as many rebounds as Danny Wolf did.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Because
Danny Wolf has like 6 inches wide on him.
it's not red flag weaknesses. It's just things he could get better at. And I think as a plug and play guy, the best thing for him is just be ready to play. Be ready to play. Be ready. Just do what you did at Colorado State. Do it in the NBA at a different, like not at a lesser level. You don't have to average 18 and 9 and 4 assists. He could average 10 or 12, 6 rebounds, and maybe three assists at a limited minutes because he's not going to get, he probably, any team he goes to, he's probably not going to get a ton of minutes. He's just going to be more of like a role coming off the bench guy, impact guy,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. Now, last thing on Clifford. So he's mocked to the Wolves right now at 17 from Tankathon. And I was thinking about that because they could actually really use him because
Yeah.
Nikhil Alexander Walker is going to be a free agent. I know they're thinking about paying Nas Reed. There's two guys that are really key role players on the Wolves, and that's Nas Reed and Nikhil Alexander Walker. Now, he could be a Nikhil Alexander Walker replacement. I know, like, Wolves fans are probably not going to want to hear that, but you got to think about it like this. I'm pretty sure they're a second apron team or close to it. So they're gonna have to figure out who they're gonna pay, and I think Nas Reed is crucial. You have to keep Nas Reed. You got to pay that man. So if you're gonna bite the bullet, you bite the bullet on Nas, and then you're gonna hope Nique could translate and be a plug and play guy that could give you not what Nikhil gives you, but a little bit lesser, a little bit less. I mean, like I said, what did Nikhil Alexander Walker to you side bring to the Wolves that Nique could, try to replicate?
I mean, look,
Yeah.
Alexander Walker is actually like a pretty good comp because they are around the same size. I think they're both like 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
Good 3-point shooting. Walker was, I believe, a 38% 3-point shooter.
Mhm.
Theoretically, Nique Clifford could be better than
Mhm.
Alexander Walker. Here's the thing though with Clifford, I don't like not all these skills are going to translate
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the rim finishing isn't going to translate. The ability to draw contact isn't always going to translate. I think the shooting will translate.
Yeah.
Some of the passing vision could translate. Like I think Alexander Walker is like a good comp, and that would be like a good low budget replacement.
No budget. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, though any of the teams that are drafting between like 14 to 20, like that's
Yeah.
where I expect Clifford to go. Like
Yeah.
those middle of the pack teams that are like we're not good enough to get like a lottery pick, but we're still trying to win games.
Yeah.
I think like those teams would like really covet him.
I like him on the Wolves. I like him on the Pacers. Um, those type of teams. Those type of teams that could use him in that plug and play. The playoff teams that are already in the mix that could use a guy off the bench, impact guy, plug and play guy. I like those teams for him. I mean, I see Celtics low end here, 28 maybe, but yeah, like with Nique, I think for him it's just gonna be: are you willing to take the risk on the age and see, like you said, the skills are going to translate because he has a safe floor. At the end of the day, he's going to be a defensive guy that can guard 1, 2, 6, 6, 6, 7, guard 1, 2, 3. Great high motor work ethic. Going to grab you a bunch of offensive rebounds, and he's going to guard up at the worst. And then the shooting, we'll see if that translates, but I think it will. The mechanics look good, and he's going to be able to knock down catch and shoot. If he's knocking down catch and shoot threes, he's going to be a really, really good role player going forward in the right system, though. And it reminds me too, Miami Heat could be another team that you can go to. So
Yeah,
in the right system, the right system could, make him look a lot better than what he is, standalone. Because if the Nets shouldn't go after him, because him on the Nets, he just has nothing around him. It just wouldn't seem right if we it would be weird if it's like I said, we already drafted J Will. So it's like we were high on J Will. J Will came into the league. Remember the game-winning threes. The 3-point shooting was on point. It translated quick, but then
I'll,
we
I'll
said
say
in the
this
beginning,
though, and this is like the difference between Clifford and J-Will, is that okay? Wilson averaged in his senior year, final year of Kansas, 20 points, eight rebounds.
yeah,
But the efficiency was worse. Like 43% from the field, 33% from three. Clifford is a better shooter, better finisher, like all around.
yeah,
And so I
that's
think
true. Yeah,
I think the skill, like I think he is going to translate like much better than Jalen Wilson is.
yeah,
The problem is, okay, I think the floor is there. I think this guy is guaranteed to be like in an 8-man rotation, like in like a playoff team, like
yeah.
eventually. Maybe not right off the gate, but in 1 or 2 years, I think that he's that kind of guy. The
I really
question
hope.
is,
Yeah.
do we believe the ceiling is like Jalen Williams?
Mm.
Because okay, I've seen people comp him and say like he could be a Jalen Williams type of player. The problem is, I'm pretty sure
I'm worried
he
about
is
the on-ball creation if that's the case. I don't think his on-ball creation is like J-Dub's.
what J-Dub was able to figure out the on-ball creation. Like he still
Yeah.
has problems, but he was able to mostly figure it out. The concern I have is I'm pretty sure Jalen Williams right now is okay. Jalen Williams is about 7, 8 months older
Oh,
than
right
Clifford, and
now?
he's been in the
Wow, that's
NBA for 3
crazy.
years.
That's crazy.
And so like there's a huge like Jalen Williams was older, but he wasn't that old when he
Yeah.
got into the NBA. It just like this guy is he's old.
Yeah.
Like he's just so old. 23 years
La
old, going to be 24.
Last thing, with his NBA comps that the scouts put out, they put out Christian Braun as one of his number one NBA comp. Both high motor wing, contribute across the board without needing the ball in their hands.
I think that's a really good
Um,
comp.
Keldon Johnson was on a comp, and then Josh Hart. We talked about Josh Hart a lot, so those are his 3 comps: Christian Braun, Keldon Johnson, and Josh Hart.
I think
So
those are all like rotation players.
yeah,
I think I don't know. Like I think we've said this before. Like I wouldn't draft him. You wouldn't draft him.
we would draft him. I
We
hope
don't
he
need
goes to a
like.
playoff team. I really do. I really hope he goes to a playoff team so we could really see,
I think he
you
will.
know, yeah, yeah,
I'd say with him, it just the floor is high, but we don't need a high floor guy. And the ceiling is questionable, very questionable in my
mhm,
opinion. I don't think he's ever going to be on the par of like Jalen Williams or Desmond Bain. And even if he does, like we saw like the limitations of like Desmond Bain and even Jalen Williams to some extent, like even though he's the second best player on that team, that OKC team is such a unit overall
yeah.
that
Really strong unit.
he's able to be like a little bit worse as a second option because of that.
Yeah, yeah. They make up for his mistakes a big time because all the shooting around him and the creation around him. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. All our Twitters are showing at the bottom. Instagram is Nets Kingdom 1. Let us know what your thoughts about Nique Clifford. Not the sexiest name in the draft, but he's gonna be a good piece to a playoff contending team or a plug and play team that needs him. Appreciate you guys so much. Hit that like button to support. We'll be back.